Never place your TV here in the living room. Feng Shui for wealth. Have you ever walked into a living room and felt that something was subtly wrong, even if everything looked beautiful? The furniture is expensive, the television is large and modern, the lighting is warm, and yet the space feels restless. In Feng Shui, the living room is not simply a place to sit and relax, it is the energetic heart of the home. It is where conversations happen, where ideas circulate, where opportunities symbolically enter the household. And because of this, the placement of certain objects, especially the television, can quietly influence the flow of energy related to prosperity. Many modern homes unknowingly weaken their wealth energy not through clutter or disorder, but through the position of the television. Today, we will explore a Feng Shui principle that is often overlooked in modern design, because in the ancient tradition, the living room was always understood as a place where attention, energy, and intention gather. And in the modern world, nothing gathers attention more strongly than the television. The psychological gravity of the screen. Before we even discuss Feng Shui, it helps to understand something from modern psychology. Human attention naturally moves towards light and movement. This is deeply rooted in our evolutionary brain. Bright objects capture focus. Moving images hold attention. Psychologists call this attentional capture, the brain's tendency to orient itself towards visually dominant stimuli, and the television is one of the most powerful attention magnets inside a home. When the TV dominates the living room in the wrong position, it quietly reshapes the emotional structure of the space. Instead of conversation flowing between people, attention flows towards the screen. Instead of energy circulating naturally, it becomes concentrated in one direction. And when attention collapses inward like this, the energetic architecture of the room changes. In Feng Shui terms, this affects how qi, the life energy, circulates through the environment. The warning from ancient Feng Shui masters. The classical Feng Shui master Go Pu, who wrote the foundational text, the Book of Burial, explained an essential principle. Qi gathers where attention rests and disperses where movement is uncontrolled. Although Go Pu lived centuries before the invention of television, the principle remains remarkably relevant. Objects that dominate attention shape how energy accumulates in a space. When attention becomes unbalanced, the flow of qi becomes unstable. Another legendary Feng Shui master, Yang Yun Song, emphasized a similar idea. When the heart of the home loses balance, fortune cannot remain. In traditional homes, the living room was designed to create a feeling of stability and grounded interaction. But the modern television often disrupts that balance, not because televisions are bad, but because their placement matters.
The most common TV placement mistake. The first mistake many homes make is placing the television directly in the wealth position of the living room. In Feng Shui, when you stand at the entrance of the living room and look inside, the far left corner often corresponds to the symbolic wealth sector. This corner represents growth, opportunity, and the ability of prosperity to accumulate over time. Ideally, this area should feel stable, alive, and gently nourished. Objects placed here should support growth. Plants, books, artwork that symbolizes abundance. But when a large television occupies this space, the energetic quality changes. Televisions constantly emit visual stimulation, fast movement, changing images, rapid emotional signals. This creates an atmosphere of restless energy rather than grounded growth. From a psychological perspective, this matters more than people realize. Our environments influence how our minds process information. Cognitive behavioral psychology shows that external environments subtly shape emotional patterns and decision-making. A space filled with restless visual stimulation can unconsciously promote distraction rather than focus. And focus is deeply connected to prosperity, because wealth is not only about opportunity, it is also about mental clarity and decision-making. A second placement that weakens energy. Another placement that quietly disrupts Feng Shui is positioning the television directly facing the entrance of the living room. When the TV is the first dominant object seen from the entrance, the energy of the room immediately collapses toward the screen. Instead of the space feeling welcoming and expansive, it becomes visually compressed. Yang Yun Song described a similar condition in classical Feng Shui. When energy rushes toward a single object, the harmony of the room dissolves. In psychological terms, the environment becomes stimulus-dominated. The mind enters passive consumption mode rather than active engagement, and over time, this affects how the living room functions socially and emotionally. The room stops being a place of exchange, it becomes a place of absorption. The mirror and the television. There is another subtle issue many homes create without realizing: placing a mirror where it reflects the television. In Feng Shui, mirrors amplify whatever they reflect. If a mirror reflects natural light, the room becomes brighter. If a mirror reflects a beautiful landscape painting, the room feels expansive. But when a mirror reflects a television screen, the visual stimulation doubles. This can create what some Feng Shui practitioners call visual turbulence, too much moving imagery circulating in the environment. From the perspective of cognitive psychology, this increases cognitive load. The mind becomes constantly stimulated without periods of visual rest, and environments that never allow visual rest often reduce the mind's ability to focus and plan, which again connects to prosperity. Because wealth is not only about opportunity, it is also about mental clarity and decision-making.
So, where should the television go? The solution is not to remove the television entirely. Modern homes integrate screens naturally. The goal is balance. Ideally, the television should occupy a neutral wall that does not dominate the wealth corner and does not confront the entrance directly. The screen should feel integrated into the room rather than ruling it. The living room should still encourage conversation, connection, presence. In well-designed Feng Shui living rooms, the television is present, but it is not the energetic ruler of the space. The room still belongs to the people who live there. Strengthening the wealth area. If the wealth corner of the living room has been occupied by the television, small changes can help rebalance the space. Consider placing a healthy plant with rounded leaves, a warm lamp, a symbolic object of prosperity, a bowl of fruit or natural elements. These objects represent growth and nourishment. In many cultures, fruit symbolizes abundance because it represents the result of growth and patience. Psychologically, symbols matter more than we often realize. Environmental psychology shows that symbolic objects can influence emotional states and long-term behavior. They remind the mind of intention, and intention is one of the most powerful forces in shaping outcomes. The living room as the emotional center of the home. Modern psychology increasingly confirms what ancient Feng Shui masters already understood. Our surroundings influence our mental structure. Spaces shape habits. Habits shape decisions. Decisions shape destiny. The living room is not simply where we watch television. It is where families gather, where conversations shape ideas, where moments of inspiration happen. And when the energy of this room becomes balanced, the entire emotional structure of the home becomes stronger. This is what the Feng Shui masters meant when they spoke of harmonizing the heart of the house. Because when the heart of the house is stable, life outside the house often becomes more stable as well. A small reflection. Take a moment and imagine your living room. Where is the television positioned? Is it dominating the space or supporting it? Is the room designed around connection or around the screen? Sometimes a small adjustment in the environment can create a surprising shift in how the entire home feels. Because when attention becomes balanced, energy becomes balanced. And when energy becomes balanced, prosperity has a place to settle. Closing thought. The ancient masters of Feng Shui understood something that modern science is only beginning to rediscover. Our environments quietly shape our inner world. Gu Pu wrote centuries ago, "When the dwelling is aligned, the mind becomes aligned. And when the mind becomes aligned, clarity grows, resilience grows, opportunity becomes easier to recognize. The home begins to support the life you are building." If you found this perspective helpful, consider subscribing to the channel. Here, we explore how Feng Shui, psychology, and mindset come together to create environments that support prosperity and emotional balance. And in the next video, we will explore another important rule inside the living room, the mirror placement that can either multiply wealth energy or quietly push it away. Because in Feng Shui, even small reflections can shape the direction of energy. And when you learn to observe your home carefully, you begin to see that the house is always speaking. You simply learn how to listen.